There it is. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. We're here with another episode of Guided by Spirit. I am your host, Richard LaRocco, with my amazing co-host, Miss Pauline Raffaella. How you doing today, Pauline?
Hello, Richard. I'm doing very well on this day. And how are you? How are
I'm
you
doing
feeling?
I am feeling like a champ. I am affirming perfect health. Thanks to also some of your recommendations for natural medicine. If people don't know, Pauline, you actually got certified in what? Natural medicine, correct?
Well, I'm a master herbalist, yes, which encompasses not only herbs but supplements and nutrition and things like that. Yeah.
So I was kind of dealing with a lot of lung issues, some fatigue, immunity issues. Pauline, I don't feel well. Ba 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 ba. And I order that night. 2 days later, with the Pauline, not that she's a doctor, she only played one on TV. That's my joke, but it worked. And I started feeling amazing. My lungs started feeling better. She is just unbelievable. She has so much in there. So if you are a client of Pauline's or are on the fence, please go see her. She's absolutely amazing. Also with the Akashic Records, her readings are spot on, spot on.
Oh, those
Highly,
are fun.
highly recommends.
Thank you. Thank you. The Akashic readings are fun for sure because we never know what we're going to find, what we're going to see, what we're going to learn. And those can be fun. And I'm just going to give you a plug. Look, if to the listeners, if you haven't had a reading with Richard LaRocco, he is the best of the best, detailed, hits the nail on the head over and over again. I have a client who just, I think, signed up with you.
Yes. So great stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we have a lot going on today. We have a lot of we have a special guest, which I'm so excited for,
Me too.
because this is a little in my wheelhouse, which I'm really looking forward to talking, hearing her story, talking to her. But we also have a lot of energetic stuff and a big number of four. I think you and I were talking about some retrogrades and things like that. But let's get into universally speaking. So what do you have for us, Pauline?
Okay, yep. Universally speaking, I love this segment. We get to talk about energy. We get to talk about some of the real things that are happening to us, the feelings, the fogginess, the why do I feel so out of sorts? Why am I so tired? Why am I crying all the time? What's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. You're part of evolution. And so these retrogrades have a way of, making us review ourselves. I'll say it that way. Oftentimes, yeah, we're reviewing the past, but we're also reviewing ourselves. So we've got 4 planets in retrograde, and the first going retrograde today is Mercury in Leo. So Mercury is the planet of communication. Leo is the sign of like the lion-heartedness, love. So, uh, you know, try to be mindful to speak lovingly. We're in the retrograde. So, you know what might happen? You might roar instead of speaking lovingly. Okay. Words can come out harshly, ferociously. So, be mindful of that. And all of this is to help us learn to communicate better. All right. And to communicate from the heart. And then we have Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces, both retrograde. If I were to just to intuitively look at that, And Pisces is the sign of intuition, psychic energy, but it's also a dreamy sign, you know, dreamy and fantasy. The way that I see that is like, you know what? Saturn is saying, and this is to all of us, stop being so fantasy oriented. Don't stop your dreaming, but don't be fantasy oriented. See the truth. See the truth. Get out of the illusion. Use your intuitive and psychic abilities to know the truth. Not, don't listen to the media. You can listen to the media, but you know what? You got to take a step back and observe. Use those intuition and the psychic ability to see the truth. All right, to see the reality. I think that's very important right now. And I do believe, Richard, that over the next couple of months, as these planets are still in retrograde, we may just see that in the outer world. And then we have Pluto in Aquarius, also in retrograde, and that's going to go back and hit Capricorn in September. But you know, this is just all about whatever the inequality is going to continue to be revealed and shown to us, so that we can step into a more harmonious energy, life, planet. We're fighting for that. And so Pluto is churning up the darkness. And so just, you know, be ready. Have your tools, right? That we always talk about having your tools. Have your tools ready, your meditations, your prayers, your crystals, your walks in nature, your whatever it is. Have your tools handy, use them all, because you're going to need them.
Love that. I love that. Now, how would it present itself in the outer world? That's just curiosity because you're the astrology person.
Chaos. Chaos, and looking at what you're hearing and questioning it. Is this the truth? Is this really the truth? And you may not have the answer right away, but at least question it. Don't take everything for whatever you hear as face value.
We were just talking about this before we came on, and you know, my teachers really, you know, from Lilydale, you know, at a time where mediumship and natural energetic healing was not accepted, not understood. You know, and you're talking going back from 1860, they would always preach, be a free thinker. You know, if it doesn't resonate, ask, inquire, be inquisitive of the universe. You know, one of the things I never do, I don't listen to what is put in front of me as face value, as my truth. If it does not resonate, if it does not fit right, and I even tell this to clients when I'm doing events, no square peg, round hole. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. And why doesn't it fit? Why doesn't things feel right? Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to do a deep dive and educate yourself. You know, and if it doesn't work for you, it does not work. Right. So whether it's, you know, family, whether it's job, whether it's, you know, mainstream or what gets put on TV, we don't have to listen if that is not our truth. You know, it's the same thing with beliefs and opinions. Opinions, your opinion is just as valuable as my opinion. I don't have to agree with it or accept it, but I have to acknowledge it and appreciate it or understand it. So, you know, be the free thinker. Start, you know, and that's how we're going to start operating a lot of this new earth and new consciousness as a free thinker and coming to our own realization, our own answers, our own things, because what's out there is definitely, for the most part, not authentic, not real, and not truthful. You know, everything has an agenda, you know, and they want you to subscribe, and you don't have to, and know that that's okay too. That's okay.
And do your research. Do your research, right?
1,000,000,000,000%.
Do
Do
your
your
research and be open to learning something different than what you're being told.
absolutely,
Because
absolutely.
because the truth is always going to come out. The truth is always going to come out. So, so be open to that.
100%. 100. And be your own advocate. Stand up for yourself and be your own advocate. Advocacy, self-advocacy is one of the most important things. I have a client that I'm working on, and actually Tony's helping with this. A little baby, and she is just the most darling thing. She's about a little over 1 year old, and the mom is a nurse. But where she works and the medical system, the baby is nonverbal, had almost no mobility, was not eating food, on a feeding tube, you name it, even down to her prescription in her eyes was so bad, the astigmatism. And doctors kept saying, well, let's see what she turns out. Let's see how this works. Let's see, give her some time and all this stuff. And so she came to see me. We did some medical intuition. And I said, you need to get this test, this test, this test. And this is going on and that's going on. Well, the baby at 1, right? And the mom was determined to find a result, find a solution, find some answers for her child because nobody was giving it to her. And had a stroke right after birth. Her prescription is so bad that the child can't even see or have depth perception. I told her to get glasses, even without, being an optometrist or ophthalmologist and all of that. We talked about this. We got her now moving through guidance from spirit and also, energetic healing from our friend Tony. The baby is now crawling. Okay. This
Oh,
is a child that was paralyzed on the one side from a stroke. She's now crawling. She's now moving. Spirit said, literally, have bone broth put in the feeding tube, get her nutrients. Let's get those
oh,
bones and that energy going. All of a sudden, now she's eating food. She's growing more. They thought she was going to have to be on human growth hormone because she was tiny. I said, let's get her the nutrients. Let's get her this. Let's get her glasses. And her mom listened because it resonated with her. And she came to her child's defense. And now, little Vivi is getting healed and affirming health and is going to have an amazing, long, long life.
oh.
But if it wasn't for the mom saying that doesn't work for me,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to accept your being just pushed aside or let's wait until she's 3. The child is 1. So you're going to tell me 2 years that she's going to have this miraculous change? No, no. Spirit provided. She listened. It felt right. She was a free thinker and she came to her own rescue and helped her child. It's just, you got to be advocacy and standing up for yourself. And because if you don't, they won't.
I love this. And I think maybe in the future we'll do a show on the miracles, on miracles. Okay, miracles through healing, energy healing, and all sorts of medical intuition and things like that, because there are so many of them that people need to be aware that this is real.
It's beyond real.
Yeah.
Last Sunday, one of my clients, her name is Michelle, transformed her health from stage 4 colon cancer that was spreading to now, years later, looking amazing, thriving, and cancer free. Stage 4,
Beautiful.
all doing how I ate, meat, got rid of everything, elimination diet, 1 meal a day, intermittent fasting, and her body created so much autophagy that it actually healed itself. And there's so many stories, so many stories. So I think that would be actually a great deal, a great thing to talk about these miracles
Yeah.
that is out there and know that people can achieve this. It is not, I'm average. I'm an average person and I healed my body like that.
Yes.
So I love that. I absolutely love that. So, but before we do that, we have an amazing guest, Pauline. Now, She's a little in my wheelhouse, but I love this. Okay. We have somebody who, a doctor, I don't want to say Dr. Doolittle, animal communicator that talks to animals, can connect with them on an energetic level. And we're going to bring her in. I would love for you to introduce her. So let's get her on and let's bring her in. And
Okay.
if you do have any questions or want to call in, the phone number it's in the comments, 646-558-8656. And don't forget to hit pound 820-252-05181. Again, it's all in the descriptions. If you have any questions, please feel free to call.
And I think our guest will be willing to take 2 questions. If anybody wants to call in and find out a little bit of what's going on with their pet, we may have time for questions. So
you do call in and I don't get to you right away, does not mean stay on the line, because we will get to you. We just try to find a way that we can have our guest talk and answer those questions for you. So Miss Tara is coming on. We're waiting for her to turn her camera on and her microphone, and there she is.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, Tara.
there she is. Hi. So we're going to welcome Tara Argall. She is an incredible animal communicator, and she does healing work based on what the animals tell her is going on. So it's not that she's just talking to them, finding out what's they're going on. They often have information about their owners.
Yes.
And yes, and she was a mental health counselor for 25 years. And she considers herself a non-verbal therapist, non-verbal healer type. Do I have that right?
Yeah, kind of a nonverbal communicator specialist, whatever. Yeah. Kind of tapping into what's not said.
Yes, and it's so funny because Richard, didn't we talk about how the future is like telepathic, right? That our telepathic abilities are gonna strengthen. Well, we have our guest today is super adept at this already.
Well, thank you.
So welcome, Tara. Welcome to our Guided by Spirit podcast. So before we get into so much that we want to talk about with you, I want to share with people how you and I connected. And so a couple of years ago, well, I lost my cat named Tara in 2021. And I was working with an animal communicator named Judy, and Judy passed away. And I know other people who are animal communicators. And I happened to, out of nowhere, come across Tara's page on Facebook. And I saw that first of all, her name was Tara, the same as my cat, my beloved cat. And I saw that she was an animal communicator through Trailblazing Communications. And I almost felt it was Tara, my Tara, saying, friend her because you're going to need her. And my communicator Judy passed away, and shortly after that, I got Isis and Venus and Athena, and I got a house full of goddesses. And I reached out to Tara and I said, I need some help with all this female energy in the house.
Yes. You got some powerhouses at your house.
I do have some power. Yes, we're all a bunch of yes. So that's how Tara and I met. And she has done some incredible work. What I would love for you to do is share your story about how Bolt, I think it is, your horse, share the story about what happened with Bolt and how Bolt showed you how to develop this healing modality.
Well, it happened. Bolt came into my life back in 2009. And I was at the empty nest stage of my life. My kids were leaving the house. It was like, oh, it's freedom time. And I had a client who kept coming back to me with another horse she wanted to talk to, another horse. And I'm like, I was starting to wonder, was she a hoarder? I mean, this was like a lot of horses. So I asked her, I said, how many horses do you have? And she said she had about 40 of them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, well, she had a rescue. So I thought, oh my gosh, I got to go out there. So I went out to her rescue to check it out. And it was a small rescue, and long story made short, they needed help. So my husband and I kind of took it upon ourselves to go out there. And we took a Friday off, went out there, was just going to work, didn't want to communicate with anybody, just wanted to do some therapeutic farm stuff, right? And when I was in cleaning stalls in the barn, I'd go by and there'd be this horse that was in a stall. She had a very big barn. And this horse was in a stall, and every time I go by, he'd be covered in flies, but not twitching like they do. And so I thought, well, he must be sick. So I asked my friend when she came in, I said, what's up with that horse? She said nothing. And I said, look at him. And she saw all the flies. It looked like he had a black coat on, and he's a Palomino, which is a blonde colored horse. And she said, you better go check it out. So I went to talk to Bolt, and his name was Ribbons at the time. And he was there for training because he kept bucking people off. He wouldn't let anybody ride him. So I went up to him and I said, what is going on? And he did that to get my attention so I'd come over. And then he began to tell me that he was bred to be a parade horse for this woman. That wasn't what he was here to do. He told me that he wasn't here for riding. That's why he'd buck everybody off. But he said, I'm a mystical horse. And I'm like, what's that? And he goes, I'm here to take my person on rides, but not on my back. I teach him, I journey and do all this stuff. And it was all new to me. This was a long time ago. So, and then he said, and I want to be your horse. And I'm like, well, I'm not looking for a horse, Long story made short, I'd go out and volunteer, and there'd be Bolt, and we connected. His person ended up coming back for him because he flunked out of yet another training place because he wouldn't let anybody ride. Nobody was listening that's not what he was for. And he went back to his home. And I, in the meantime, learned about all the stuff he talked about and started journeying with him, and found out we had long history together and other times. And it was just a beautiful teaching thing. So then I ended up getting him because his person was frustrated that she was either going to send him to the rodeo for a bucking bronc, or, whatever else, wherever else they send horses that don't behave. And so I said, well, I'd be interested in buying him. And she said, well, he's not going to be rideable. And I said, I don't care. She thought I was crazy. Anyways, he ended up coming to me. She gave up on him, and I ended up getting him. And shortly after that is when I, was kind of frustrated with counseling, couldn't take people past a certain wall. And with my animal clients, same thing, could help them, but I couldn't take them past a wall. And I didn't know what that wall was. And then when Bolt came into my life, things started to happen. I started to get information, and I didn't know exactly what I was doing at first. And it just kept coming, and I was taking notes. And when I get stuck and not be able to understand the notes, when I look out my window here from my office, I can see where Bolt is. And he's so tuned in that when I'm stumped, he'll come to the fence, and I know he has something to share, and he'll tell me, he'll fill in the blanks that I'm struggling with. So he was very instrumental in helping me develop an energy modality that was the answer that I had asked Spirit for to get people and animals past this wall, so to speak. And the wall was trauma. And so this energy modality is to help heal epigenetic and current life trauma. And Bolt was at that fence through the whole thing, helping me through the blocks and pushing me and supporting me. And he's my living spirit guide. I tell everybody I have a unicorn, and they giggle like I'm joking, but I'm not.
Yeah. No, he's beautiful. He's absolutely beautiful. And I love this story because these animals, maybe many of them are mystical, and humans have certain expectations of animals, of what they want these animals to do and be. And the animal knows that it's not here to do that.
Yeah, and nobody asked them what they want to do.
And yes, and it's very interesting because I'll share many years ago, I had a friend who had horses. She had about 12 horses. They were big riding people, show people.
Mm-hmm.
And she purchased this one horse at the time, and this horse came from Germany. I mean, this horse was he was big and beautiful. And this horse was supposed to be, you know, the biggest of the biggest show horse, riding, jump. Okay. This horse did like little jumps, maybe over 12 inches at the most. And my friend was like, I don't understand what's wrong with this horse. His name was Rusty. And I don't consider myself an animal communicator, but I am intuitive. And I sat with him one day and I put his hand on him and I said, Rusty, what's wrong? And he said, I don't want to do that. And I said, I am sorry. You may have paid $100,000 for this horse, imported, bred in Germany, the best of the best, but he doesn't want to do what you want him to do. And luckily, they were of the mindset that they would keep him anyway. I said, do not give him to or sell him to anyone. It will be his destruction, because he can't be who Earth people want him to be. And as far as I know, she has kept him. And I said, you just keep him and ride him around your little rink and don't have big expectations.
Well, the thing of it is I have found that all animals come to us for a purpose. And, you know, there is a reason they come into our lives. And if people were able to, you know, ask that and tap into that, you know, imagine the magic that could happen, because Bolt came into my life to help me with this trailblazing journey and to do what, you know, build this thing that we built. And if I would have not listened to him about, you know, be able to hear that he's a mystical horse and all this stuff, I would have missed a big opportunity, not only for he and I, but for what we share, you know, with others, the ripples and things. And everybody's animal is there to help them with something, you know, that we need help with. And
they're mirrors for sure. Many of my animals have taught me confidence, freedom, compassion. My animals have taught me so much. I love this story. I love that Bolt actually taught you your healing modality. It didn't come from another healer. It didn't come from a teacher. It came from a horse.
Yes. Yes. A very wise horse. And I'll tell you, if I don't, it's so cute too, because he knows what gets me moving. If I need to get going in life and start, you know, doing things, like I'll go out to pay attention to him and love on him. And if I'm not doing my part of the thing, he won't even let me love on him. He'll walk away and go, not until you do your stuff. And then when I do, I come back and he'll be all lovey-dovey. But yeah, he knows how to get me going.
I love this. Richard, want to chime in?
Oh, you know, it's amazing because animals have so much to say, and sometimes on such a deep level. You know, people think when you do animal communication, yes, you do get some animals, and please share, Tara, what your experiences. And so when I'm sitting in a reading, it's funny. I'll bring, oh, I have your mom here. She loves you and this and that. And then next thing you know, I'll be like, and who's got the little terrier? And the they're saying white with black spots, and you will see the waterworks.
Yeah.
You know, if you ever bring in an animal, right? I mean, in a reading, oh my gosh, it is unbelievable because they're all pure forms of light. They're pure love, unconditional, no life review, no nothing. I mean, it's no karma, no nothing. And I don't know if spirit has kind of showed you through animal communication, reincarnation. It's funny. Everybody says, well, I want to come back as a dog. Yeah, it doesn't work like that, because dogs are, you know, or animals are of pure light and love. And we have stuff. We have baggage.
I see them being a higher incarnation because they come, you know, they've already learned unconditional. They're there. I mean, no matter what you do to an animal, they'll still be loyal to you. You could beat the crap out of them and they'll still be loyal to you because they are unconditional. And, you know, one of the things that Bolt taught me is that, you know, when I would see people mistreating animals, I would just get incensed about it. And, you know, it would get me angry and get me worked up. And Bolt said, you know, it's okay to care and it's okay to help when you can. But he said, you have to know that that person and that animal came together for a purpose. And it's not that you don't help, but know that that animal came to be in that person's life to teach them something. And so that might happen through abuse, and that person might be learning, you know, and I thought, oh my God, that's going to be a tough one. But it really helped me kind of reframe things and know I help when I can. Don't get me wrong. It's not to turn around and go, oh, well, you're on your own. But, you know, it's to know when you need to let the lessons play out and know that it'll be okay because that animal signed up for that to be that teacher. That was a
And
tough
they are,
lesson.
oh my gosh, and they're amazing teachers. We actually do have our first call. So Tara,
Okay.
if you let's take our first call.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
What is your thank you. Thank you for calling in. What is your name and where are you from?
Hi, this is Sheila from Pennsylvania.
Hi, Sheila. Oh my gosh, we love
Hi.
Sheila.
Hi,
How are you
Sheila.
doing?
Hi, Pauline. I'm good.
What is your question, Sheila?
So I have a question for Tara. So my dog Mika is right here with me, and we've been having some issues with Mika. She's 6 years old, and from time to time, we're finding where she's wetting inside the house in one particular area of the house, and we're not really
Okay.
sure why. I've had her to the vet. They
Yeah.
can't seem to find anything wrong.
No, that's usually, so here's what I found to be true, and I can tune in and see what I get with Mika. But what I have found is animals never inappropriately use the house as a bathroom unless they have a message. Because why would they do that? You know, that is,
Right.
you think they're doing that to us. People get so mad, and I have a really cool cat story I'll share after this about that particular thing. I shared that with you, Pauline, but
Yes.
yeah, I'll tune in. Micah has a message for you or for somebody. So let me just take a quick second here and tune in.
Okay.
So it feels like Micah is going to the bathroom in a very not in a secluded place, but where there's high traffic. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Yeah. And it looks like it might be, is it in the entryway of your home?
It's in one of the entryways, yes.
Okay. So let me see what Micah wants to share. So Sheila, how many people are in your home?
2 adults.
2 adults. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like the message is for you, Sheila. So Sheila, I want to ask you what I'm getting from Micah is that do you find yourself going and doing a lot of things that you really don't want to do, that you wish that you would say no to, but you're like have a hard time saying no, and so you're off going to help somebody, or you're going to do this, or you're going to do that?
Yeah, I'm kind of in great demand.
Okay. So what Mike is trying to show you as she goes to the bathroom in that spot is wanting to call your attention to all the times you leave the house and to pay attention to how many times you're leaving and you want to, and how many times you don't want to go and wish you could stay home and do something else. Because she wants to call your attention to that, because you need to learn how to say no and not feel guilty about it, and to be able to enjoy some things that you like to do for you. And Mika or Micah, if I'm saying that right, really
It's
loves
Mika,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, she really loves you, Sheila, and would like you to have more joy and more time for you.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, those are things that I've been working on, so yeah.
Yep. And a lot of times they'll affirm, but I think it too, I think you've probably worked on it, but you have a ways to go. There's still a lot of yeses you're saying when you need to say no.
Okay.
Is there something you like to do at home? Do you have like a creative hobby or something that you just can never get enough time to do because there's so much calling for you?
I mean, not necessarily. I actually work from home, so I'm home a lot through the day with her.
Okay. But when you're
Yeah.
home, you take time to be home in ways that you want to be for you and not just for work?
I mean, there's days, yes, that I would say that, yeah.
So
But
usually
yeah.
when we get the message right, the animals will stop the behavior as long as we take steps in the direction that they've suggested. So people say, oh, okay, now I know that. So they'll quit going to the bathroom and I can just go on as usual. No, if you ignore the message, she might add a little bit more there for you. So
Okay, great.
be aware of that. Be aware of that. And
Okay.
if she knows that you've gotten this message, so she will probably stop the behavior and watch to see what you glean from that and what you put into action.
Okay. All right. Well, good to
Sheila,
know.
Sheila,
Yes.
I'm just going to add something. I think there's something here as to what Tara said and the Akashic reading that we did. And I'm not exactly sure
Oh.
what that is, but you may have to go back and listen to the recording of the Akashic reading and something
Okay.
that Tara has just spoken about.
Okay. All right. I can certainly do that as well. All good.
Good
Perfect.
stuff. Well, thank you so much, Sheila. You have an
All
amazing
right.
day.
Thanks. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
So we do have another caller. This looks like it's from Long Island. Let's take our caller.
Okay.
Hello. Thank you for waiting. What is your name and where are you from?
This is Tracy. I'm from Miller Place.
Hi, Tracy. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. So what is your question, Tracy?
Well, I had a question to Tara, the animal communicator, if she sees any messages from my pets living or departed.
Okay. Anyone in particular?
Well, I have a strong bond with my cat, Kate. Wondering if you see anything, yeah, about that.
Okay. And Kate is your current cat?
Yeah, but I have a few. I have 3 cats. Yeah, she's my current cat.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. How old is Kate?
He is 8.
Okay. Is it Kate or Tate?
Kate. Kate.
Okay.
Katie.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So right away when I tune in,
Yeah.
I hear him say, so Tracy, do you spend a lot of time thinking about things? Are you in your head a lot?
Sure. Yes. I would say.
So your cat takes me to that, brings attention to that. So let me just see why.
Okay.
So Tracy, do you find that you are dissatisfied a lot in relationships?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
probably.
What your cat's showing me is that and sometimes, when animals give a message, my job is
Yeah.
to interpret. So I get feelings, I get words I
Right.
see, I get pictures of things. And so I'm getting
Yeah.
kind of a whole thing. And so my job is, it's kind of like if you walk in a room, you're going to go, oh my gosh, color on the walls, the decorations, and if I was going to describe the room to you, where do I start? This is kind of sometimes the animals give me all this multi-sensory stuff, and my job is to interpret. So it feels like what he's trying to share with you, Tracy, is that the reason your relationships are hard for you is because you're thinking about them and you're thinking, oh, well, they said this, so this will happen. Instead, what your cat is inviting you to do is drop down into your heart and feel what's going on and feel, like when somebody says something, instead of thinking about what they said, feel it. And if you could get
Okay.
into your heart and feel about things, you're going to be able to connect a lot deeper, not only with people, but with your animals you have and have had,
Okay.
and be able to connect and have more fulfilling relationships so you don't feel kind of, your cat is kind of showing me that you can oftentimes feel like you don't fit in or you don't belong or, you know, that kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
All right. And yeah, I had 3 cats a couple of years ago pass in 1 year.
Oh my
I had
goodness.
my cat Buddy died of a tooth infection. 2 days later, my cat Michelle was outside and got attacked by a dog and got killed in front of me. And my
Oh,
other cat was Ruby. She was 19, so she passed of old age in my arms. But yeah, it was a really hard year.
oh, that's a rough year, Tracy. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
So yeah, I don't know if you see any of them trying to send in any message to me.
Well, I'm sure that they would, but I think for time and energy purposes, I'm just going to do one thing for each person because we could really
Sure,
get
sure.
into depth on things. And yeah, that's a whole different level.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much, Tracy. And we will
Thank
be
you
giving
guys.
out Tara's information. So if anyone would love to book a reading with her, they can reach out to her. We'll put all their contact information so that you have it. So thank you so much, Tracy, for calling in.
Thanks, you guys. Bye.
All right, thank you.
Have a
Tara,
good day.
I know you said 2, but we do have somebody else.
Oh, no,
Would you
I'm
be?
fine with that, but I just didn't want to get into really,
No, no.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
So
telling you.
I have a suggestion. Why don't we just, I would love for Tara to talk about the stray cat that she worked with, and then we can take the caller. How's that?
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great. So the story I told you about the cat in the husband's shoes.
Yes.
Okay, so here's the beautiful thing about animals is that I find people are come to me as a last resort. Something's going on with their animals. They've gone to the vet, they've tried everything, and now I'm the last resort. They don't necessarily believe in what I do, but being a last resort, they'll give it a whirl. So I had a gal call me, and she was from a small town around my area, and her husband was fed up with the cat and said, if we don't figure out the behavior that's going on, your cat's gonna get the bullet. So she loved her cat. So she called me and she said, well, I don't really believe in what you do, but I'm willing to try it. So we're doing it over the phone. I do my sessions over the phone and I tune in physically and I can feel what's going on in their body. And I'm not a vet, so I can't diagnose, but I share what I get. And so this cat in his ultimate wisdom sends me, I'm tuning in the body and I feel something funny with the front right leg. And I said to the lady, I said, your cat's front right leg feels really weird to me, like it's not even there. And she goes, oh my God, how did you know that? The cat had had an injury and the front leg was amputated. And the reason she called is because this cat was pooping in her husband's shoes and he had had enough of that. So went in to ask the cat and he was hilarious. And cats seem to have more humor than any other animal. They can have me rolling on the floor sometimes. They're so funny. And this cat used foul language. I'm sure he was talking in a way that they would understand, right? And the cat said, he talks to her like SHIT, and I've had enough. And so, and he said he doesn't treat her well, he doesn't respect her, and so he started pooping in the husband's shoes. So the lady all of a sudden got really quiet, and I wondered if she was still on the line. And then all of a sudden I heard tears, and she said, "Oh my God, he's so right." And she said, "How do you know that?" And she just couldn't believe it, but it, made perfect sense. So we, continued and finished up this session. And about a month or month and a half later, I get a email from her and she tells me, oh my gosh, I told my husband what the cat said. He was so embarrassed, but he took it to heart. And the two of them entered into counseling. And she said things are going much better. So, animals do that inappropriate going to the bathroom for good reason. So we should never be mad or punish them. We should get curious and go, what's
What's
up?
going on?
Yep. Yeah.
I
Story.
love that.
Yeah.
I
It was,
love that story. Thank you, Tara, for sharing
yes.
that, because, what we don't realize is that, we're very intuitive, but animals see energy. They feel, they operate from energy. They don't get in their own way like we do. It's either, if it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right. There is no in between. It is what it is. If they love you, oh my gosh, they'll love you. And if they don't want a part of you, you need to check you, because it's not them. It's a you thing, not a them thing.
Well, one of the things, I don't do lost animal work, and what you touched on is part of the reason why. First of all, it's a very emotional, highly emotional thing. My animal's
Yes.
lost, and then the animal is, kind of disorientated because they're not in their normal environment. But I have found lots of animals are lost because they want to be lost. They're done. They're not moving on to the
Yes.
next thing, or it's not working out how, it's not a good situation. So I don't do, so anybody listening, I don't do lost animal work. It's too much drama, too much whatever. And I never want to have to deliver a message to a person that their animal no longer wanted to be in their home. It's not work that I enjoy. I enjoy, helping them foster the relationship. And I love helping people when their animals are close to the end of life. There's some of the most beautiful messages I've heard are in those moments. So, but yeah, no lost animal work. That's not my deal.
I get it. No, I
jam.
try to limit a lot of forensic mediumship and things like that, because it's a lot. It's a
drama.
lot, and it's usually, and I'm about more of the highest and best, not doom and gloom. And
Yep.
unfortunately, a lot of that usually has a very grim outlook,
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I get it. I'm on the same page with you. So,
Yep.
all right, let's take our next caller.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, caller. Thank you for holding. What is your name and where are you from?
My name is Yvonne, and I'm from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
How you doing, Yvonne?
I'm doing fine. Hi, Pauline.
Hi, Yvonne.
So, Tara, Yvonne is a longtime listener, just an amazing soul. Has been part of Guided by Spirit caller for a long time. So
Awesome.
we appreciate you, Yvonne. Thank you so much. What is your question for Tara?
Tara, I adopted 2 puppies. They are long-hair collies. They're from the same litter. They're usually very good, but the one I have Pollyanna and I have Molly. And
Okay.
Molly is, I've never had a dog quite like her. She is, she can become aggressive to people. Not me, never me. And she's incessant barking at them.
Okay.
And I had heard that they were possibly, they came from an abusive situation. And
Okay.
I don't, the doctor, the vet now has her on trazodone. I don't want medication for her.
Yeah.
I have tried to communicate with her. I
Okay.
get so far, and then it's like,
Okay. How old are they?
They were born on Christmas of last year, so that would make them 9 months old.
Okay. Perfect. So let me tune in with Miss Molly. Right away, though, I felt a very kind of if Molly was a person, Molly would be that kind of person that would take no BS from nobody. So she's kind of makes her own rules. She's kind of she'd be that kind of kid that might be labeled defiant, but what she's really doing is just being herself, right? And doing what she feels she needs to do. So let me just tune into Molly and see what I get.
She has my personality.
Well, here's the deal. I'll share after we do this. I'll share something
Okay.
that I've learned working with animals that ties into that. So remind me about that. Okay, so Molly. So Yvonne, one of the things that Molly is sharing with me and why she gets kind of her undies in a bunch about stuff is, Molly is trying to show you boundaries in the sense of not allowing people to cross lines or not allowing people to take advantage of our kindness, those kinds of things. So Molly feels like you have kind of an opening in your, and when I say armor, I don't mean like closed off, but you have an opening in your protective energy field. And again, I don't mean that in a war type thing. I just mean we have an energy field that protects us. And
Correct.
you have a lot of kindness. You feel like a very kind person, and you feel like a very loving person. And you'd probably, if I sent you a message and said, I need a shirt, and you had one shirt left, you'd probably give it to me. Am I right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah. So Molly is picking up on that. And it's kind of cute that you have the names Pollyanna and then Molly. So Pollyanna is okay with going with the flow and kind of letting things be like they are, whereas Molly's like, that's not okay. And so Molly is trying to call attention to those people that might maybe take advantage of your kindness. And I don't know that they're doing that intentionally, because they just might not get boundaries, or they might be really needy and see you as somebody that could provide something that they need. So Molly is kind of helping you kind of shore that up. Does that make sense?
Yes, this is a very interesting.
Yes. So when she gets all worked up about somebody, you need to sit back, maybe not in that moment, but sit back and think about, okay, so she got all upset about Bob. What is it about Bob that bothered her? And think about that relationship and maybe why Bob was there, what you were talking about. But there's stuff for you to learn. And it's not stuff that you would pick up on, because you are a helper, you are a kind person. But sometimes people will take advantage of kindness, and sometimes it's not even intentional, but there's a kindness, I need something and I'm going for it kind of thing. I always tell people, they see me with my white hair and I say, hey, don't confuse my white hair for weakness, because
That's correct.
you'll be sorry about that. So I think that's what Molly is trying to teach you, to say, hey, I'm here, I'm kind, I'll help when I can, but don't overuse.
That is very interesting. I just didn't think that it was right that we had to put her on medication.
No, and I think if you start to kind of read her cues, and maybe it feels like you'll see something kind of starting in her even before the person's around. Animals hear our thoughts. So if you're thinking about, oh, Bob's coming over, she's gonna be like, oh God, not Bob. Bob's gonna want
Okay.
the last cup of flour, and we need cookies or something. So
Right.
when she starts kind of getting worked up, even before Bob comes, start to go, wonder, what do I need to be honing in on here? And that will help her not have to set that boundary for you.
This explains a lot. After she is barking, she will run and jump up on my lap and kiss my face.
Yep.
And she will frenzy herself with, and I'm there, oh my God, calm down, calm down, calm down.
Mom, listen, I got something to tell you,
Exactly, like that child that's pulling on your shirt or your dress saying, Mom, you got to listen.
And here's the thing, animals
concept.
hear all of our thoughts, and they're also hearing all of Bob's thoughts. So they can, they're a privy to a different level of this interaction than we are, because you can't hear Bob's thoughts, but she can.
No.
She can. So Bob might be thinking, oh, maybe I'll see if I can get a cup of flour from her.
Yeah, right.
Maybe, you know, and then she's thinking, no, we don't have enough to share. So that's
This-
maybe a silly example, but that's just what popped
No,
in.
it is a wonderful example. And I keep thinking I must be a horrible mom. I've got this one dog who just,
Oh,
they
no.
play together all the time. They sleep together. They're always together. But
Yeah.
I'm there. What have I done? Do I not give her enough
yeah.
attention? And yeah.
Every
Okay.
animal comes with a purpose. They want to have purpose, no different than us. So Molly's purpose is that for you. Pollyanna is more to love you and hold space for you, to just be you. And she's more laid back, easygoing, and holds a different space for you. So they've got it all balanced out. They've got it figured out how to help you. But Molly's decided, you know, she's the more fiery one, and she's going to handle that one for you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
There's a
Yvonne.
definite change in the tone of my voice. So bless you and thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right, dear. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. All right, Tara, we got one more if you're okay with it.
Oh my goodness.
Hello, thank you for holding. What is your name and where are you from?
My name is Tonya and I'm from Cockeysville.
Hi, Tonya. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you? This is so exciting.
Yay! All right.
And
So what is your question for Tara?
my question is, I've recently changed jobs. First of all, I'm hoping Spirit sees it was a good choice. But I'm also considering maybe in the future opening a dog rescue. And I don't know if that's really a good idea.
Okay. Do you have any animals currently?
Yes, I have 3 dogs. We like to adopt elder dogs because one of our dogs, we lost him a few years ago.
Who's your oldest female you have?
Gertrude.
Gertrude. Let's talk to Gertrude. She wants to talk.
Okay. She talks a lot.
Okay. Yep. Gertrude is popping out at me. So you want to know what she thinks about you opening a rescue?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Gertrude. So I always like to give people kind of if your dog Gertrude was a person, she would be that wise old lady down the block that you go have dangerous tea with, because I call it.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because she would tell you how it is. Like she would lay it out, and she might even have some juicy gossip about the neighbors that she's not worried about sharing. So she feels like she's kind of you know, what you see is what you get.
Yes, absolutely.
So Gertrude says that your want to open up a rescue is, you know, what a beautiful thing to want to do. But Gertrude says absolutely not. And here's why.
Okay.
So, yes, Tonya, you have lots of love to share, but here's the thing. When she's sharing it, so I hope I'm interpreting this right, and you can kind of redirect, but it feels like Gertrude is trying to share that when you do something, you go all in. You just don't do a little bit. You want to make the big difference. You want to, you know, you're not, when you're in, you're in. You're in both feet and you jump right in. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Always have.
Yeah. So, and you adopt these older dogs like Gertrude and your other ones, and you give them a great home for their last years. What a beautiful gift. I mean, Gertrude's like, I am so grateful. She loves you dearly. But she said, Mom, she says, get a grip.
Yep.
This is her words. Get a grip. If you start a rescue, you are going to be so overwhelmed that you aren't going to have the time to get close to the ones like you have with Gertrude and the other ones. The rescue will eat you alive.
Interesting.
So she says, you are doing a great service, and it's okay to do it on a smaller scale. Now, what you could do if you want to make a bigger difference is you could share your story, and it feels like she's calling you up to maybe have a bigger presence, maybe on social media or in your neighborhood or your community, but talking about what you get from adopting these older dogs and giving them a home. And wouldn't that be amazing for you? Wouldn't that be amazing in your life? Or what would it teach your kids? What would it, what would it teach your
Yeah.
grandkids? And so you do that by sending ripples instead of taking on the whole damn rescue.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah. So she says,
And-
please don't, Mom, please don't. But
And I can see her saying that too.
yeah, yeah. So you need, if you want to make a difference, share your story and share, share what you get from Gertrude, share what you get from the other ones and why you do this. Why is this important to you?
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Did you just hear my dog outside my door moan? She's like, I want to come in.
Well, obviously you have to let them.
Well, yeah, no, she'll be in my lap wanting to see you all. So no. Yeah. Does that make sense, Tonya?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
There's
really
another way that
appreciate
you
that.
can ripple and make a difference.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Wow. All right. So no dog rescue for us. Okay.
Well, you
just
can keep
adopting
doing
more dogs.
your few that you have in your home, but share your story, Tonya, because it feels like you have some really cool stories to share about what
Oh,
you
I've-
get
I've
from
got
these
stories.
older animals. Because a lot of people want the puppy. They're so cute,
Yeah, they're so
and nobody
cute.
wants the older dogs, but they don't realize the wisdom and the love and the companionship. And so I think you need to teach about that.
All right. I like that idea. Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's great. Thanks.
Tara, it's so
So
fun
much, Tanya,
because
for calling.
yeah,
Truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And good luck
Well-
on the new job. We'll have to catch up.
yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Bye. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Tara, it's so funny because I'm a person who would like to take in older cats, but that's not what I got.
No, no.
I wanted
No.
the older cats that 8 years old and older, and I got 3 3-year-olds.
But
So
look at what you're learning. And,
and what I'm learning.
yeah.
And I just want people to know too, Tara does this incredible healing work with these animals, right? What their traumas, some of their things that are going on with them. Tara does incredible work with the animal's soul. We have made progress because I've got 3 goddesses here. Myself and Athena, we're the softer ones, but Venus and Isis are the stronger ones. And we have in our sessions made progress with some of their behaviors, okay, in the healing work that you do.
And I want to share too, the work that I do, I also teach others to do. And my goal, one of the things that I've really, I've had lots of rescues, animal rescues reach out, and I've done a lot of volunteer work and helping and not asking for, payment in return, but I've asked a lot of rescues for in exchange, because sometimes it's a lot of work that I end up doing. I've helped a couple dogs not have to have amputations and different things like that. And I asked, in return, if you could share that this was addressed energetically. I'm not asking for clients, I'm not asking for even share my name, but I want people to know there's other ways to help animals, so they don't have to go through the surgeries and the medications and all the things. But I have yet to find a rescue that's open to doing rescue in a new way and helping animals with their trauma when they first come in, and helping the people. Because when I first started doing the healing modality, my goal and intention was to help animals have a better life and be treated better. And when this whole modality came to do the healing work, and this is something I teach people to do to ripple it out, right? Is that you have to help the people, because the people are the ones that are in control of the animals' situation. And I thought, well, damn, I can't just work with the animals. I gotta, you gotta work with the people. And so, I have proposed going into, like, we have a lot of reservations in our area that have massive overflow of stray, overpopulated animals, and they just keep plucking them out of the river and trying to find homes. And I said, why don't we go upstream? And why don't we do some education and some work on the reservation so we don't have to pluck them out anymore? And then do trauma work on the animals so they don't have to keep being rehomed and have all that trauma and drama. And nobody will take me up on it. Nope, nope. And I have found that rescue work, it really draws people in that need to be kind of like a hero and get the, this. And so they're not open to looking at things in a different way. So if anybody out there is in rescue work that is willing to start something in a new way, I'm all about it, and I will help in any way I can, but I'm not interested in plucking them out of the river anymore. We got to go upstream and we got to stop them falling in.
That's
Absolutely. And it's really important because one of the things I get a lot, clients will come in and I say, okay, well, who do you want to talk to? And they're like, my pet. And I'm like, oh, was your pet in spirit? And they're like, no, I just rescue one. And we're not on the same page. And, I always say understanding leads to healing, leads to love and unconditional. And if you don't understand where the animal has been, what it's experienced, what it's either going through, you are missing the boat. It's like we don't have that. If you have an issue with your spouse, you can have effective communication or go see a counselor or, like the stray cat theory, right?
Yeah.
Your story. But if a lot of times when we rescue, personally, my wife and I rescued a cat many moons ago.
Mm-hmm.
Not normally a cat person, but he was very much a dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he was young. I
Mhm.
think at the time he was about 1.5, 2. Already in his third home, had been surrendered 2 other times and was gonna be, he was a fail. So they were gonna send him back. And it was not his fault.
Never
A
is.
friend of mine had a daughter, wanted a very first cat, and the tail was being pulled and wanted to step on his stomach, and the cat was hiding and traumatized. So he says, listen, I'm going to go to Disney. And if you could just go over and feed the cat and, let me know how it goes. And when I come back, I'll surrender it and, so on and so forth. Very blasé. And I'm like, well, this is a life. A life is a life. I don't care if it has 2 legs, 4 paws, whatever. It does not matter. Right. So I go in and the cat brought a shoe in his mouth and he was like trying to play with me like an offering, and then would bring me toys. And I was like, I got to take this cat.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
12 years later, and it's been a labor of love. He
Yep.
is a jerk through and through. We call him Mr. begins with an A, 7 letters.
Yep.
But I wouldn't change him for the world. I love him unconditionally. And it's funny, if you don't understand what they went through, and if you don't kind of like understand them and try to work with them, they're like having a sibling in the house.
Well, and here's the beautiful thing, Richard, is that one of the things that I learned, when I talk about that wall that I couldn't get people or animals past, that trauma wall, we all have a stress response system. So, and at conception, whether we're an animal or a person, we energetically are gifted, yay, all the unresolved trauma from both sides of our ancestry and energetically is passed on to us because somebody's got to, down the line's got to heal it, right? And so we have all this energy passed on at conception, and then we have our own traumatic life in ways, right? And so our stress response system is overwhelmed. And that's usually the case where animals are when they're continually rehomed, fail, right? And if somebody would stop and take the time to help that animal clear that stress response system, it's not hard to do. It's not hard to learn. And if we ourselves have our stress response systems cleared and the animals do, there's no issue, but when we have lots of stuff inside that we haven't cleared, we have a lot of triggers, and triggers make us crazy. Like things can trigger us and we're reacting or behaving. And that's what happens to these poor animals. And 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 then the people that typically are drawn to, animals kind of find, people with the same issues to bring healing. And so that person has that trauma and this animal has the trauma, and then they come together and it's like fireworks, it's, yeah. So, yeah, so they definitely, come to us to help us heal. And if we're not open to the message and open to looking at, that mirror stuff like Pauline talked about, it can be kind of crazy.
It's we're going through that recently. He just wants to wake us up all the time, kind of like all the way, just in the middle of the night, several times, wants to be headbutts you, taps you with the paw, and kind of like, hey, wake up, make room for me, even though there's plenty of room for him.
What's your cat's name?
Blue,
Blue.
BLU.
Okay, Blue. So, right away, Richard, are you okay if I tune in?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
It feels like Blue needs, Blue is a little bit bored. Blue needs, he's got a real strong, like, hunting drive, and he needs hunting play. He needs to be able to stalk and pounce. So do you have toys, or, the thing that comes up is that feather thing where you can kind of make it act like a real, do you do that with him?
Not enough.
Okay. He needs more he needs to get that. He's got like, I feel like Black Panther energy in him. Like he needs to be like, rah, like going for it. And so
Oh, he's a hunter. Yes.
yes. And so he needs to get, it's like I feel when I can't get my creative energy out, I kind of get a little crazy. I got to get in my studio and get some of that out. And that's what it is for him. It's like that energy, and he has to be able to expel it physically. So if you give him more of that hunting play, you will find he's going to be a lot easier to get along with, and he'll be less annoying.
I love it. Thank you. Yeah, no, he loves that. He loves the feather, the pointers, the laser pointers.
Yeah.
We have a lot of wildlife being in Pennsylvania and kind of farmland, a lot of
Sure.
birds, a lot of squirrels, a lot of animals, and he
Yep.
stalks them and hunts
Oh,
them.
yeah.
And he gets in his like little thing behind the sliding glass door, like, I'm gonna get you, even though he can't, but
Yeah.
and that's been a lot recently, within the last, I would say, 2 months.
Yeah. He needs to
So
get that out of him. It's kind of like a energy that makes him a little crazy.
yeah. Well, thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome.
This has been amazing. And this has been, I'm already getting the comments. I've had somebody say, how do I get a private reading with her? I shared your information on our page. It is just, hi, Richard, from Natalie in Altoona, Pennsylvania, which is out not too far from Pittsburgh. We have, how do I reach out to the animal communicator for a private reading? I sent her your information.
Thank you.
Just lots of good stuff. We've had a lot of people watching. Tara, you're amazing. And it is hard. It is hard doing what you do. I've worked with some rescues, and I got to tell you, there is nothing more, if you can find a rescue that's open.
Yep.
And if you can, one of the things I used to do was also offer mini readings to any dog adopted, so that the person knew
Yep.
and understood what they were getting, kind of like
Yep.
instruction manual.
Yep.
It has gone so far.
Yep. Well,
So
and
far.
the thing of it is too, to add to that, Richard, is so that rescue where I found my horse Bolt, she would, send those horses off to homes and they'd come back because it was not a good fit. And I said, well, how about if we allow those animals to choose their person? And so when somebody would apply and they'd say, well, I want this horse, we'd ask the horse, do you want to go with this person? And they'd say yay or nay, and why? And when she started letting that animal be a participant in that decision, she doesn't get returns anymore. And so they always get to choose if they,
Amazing.
that person might be picking them because of their color, And that's not what you should be picking an animal by, or their pedigree or whatever. And, you know, so if you allow the animal to pick you, it's going to be a great match. And if you want an animal for hunting, or if you want an animal for jumping or whatever, ask them, do you want to be a jumper? Do you want to be a hunter? I've had so many cat pet appointments where, well, we got this cat to be a mouser and he won't get the mice. And the cow says, I'm not a mouser, you know, wrong, you dialed the wrong number here. So, you know, not happening. I don't want to go after a mouse. Get a different, find somebody who does. So,
Tara, one quick question, and then we're going to turn it over to Pauline,
Okay.
and be respectful of your time. But I get this a lot, and I've had a lot of people coming up to this show this week have asked me to ask you that don't have the nerve to be on all of this, right? So I find animals, walk-ins,
mhm,
animals' pet soul going from one to the other, and
Okay.
almost to the point of like, oh, I've had this one dog dies, we go to rescue, and it's literally just like our little, you know, Stella or whoever. Do you find that to be more common, and how do we encourage that? How do we prepare the animal for that, if that?
So the animal will know. So I'll use my own experience. What, how old is she now? 5 years ago, my soul dog, like I was so close to her, and she was the best dog ever. And she was going to be 15, and she was ready to be done. And she was, you know, starting to have some health issues, and she didn't want to let it go too far. And she said, I'm ready to go. And I'm like, well, I'm not ready to let you go. I don't ever want to let you go. And I was, you know, I know better, but I was like, oh, I can't let you go, you know? And she said, all right, all right. She said, I'm coming back. I'm coming back. And I'm like, you're coming back? When? And she said, I'm coming back. And I said, well, I need to know when, because one day would be too long, right? And she said, I'll be back in 2 months. And I said, well, how will I know? How will I find you? And she said, I'll just show up. So animals, you know, we have a destiny sometimes that she's been coming back multiple times in my life. And I didn't know that till this last, you know, deal. But anyway, so we put her to sleep. She was ready. And we, you know, did a really cool thing. And then, so that would take, October would be, you know, when October, it was September 15th, no, August 15th, and October 15th would have been 2 months. So it's October 15th, and I'm all excited. Where is she? Where is she? You know, and I'm looking, and no Maggie, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I must have heard her wrong. I was all like defeated. And then not too long after that, I went on Facebook, and there's a rescue in our area. And I'm not, you know, I don't follow them or anything, but they had a thing pop up with a new litter of puppies, and there was 9 puppies. And so I thought, oh, they're cute. And I looked through, and I'm like, nah, and, you know, closed it out. Well, the next day it popped up again, and I'm like, I must have missed something. So I went and tuned in, and I tuned in, you know, zeroed in on each of the animals. And when I got to the third one, I looked at the eyes, and I'm like, that's Maggie. But it was, you know, it was like,
Always the eyes.
yes. And it was like November. And I'm like, well, what the heck? So anyways, I reach out and I ask how to adopt. They tell me, we get it set up. And I said, I want, you know, the certain dog. So when we go to pick Maggie up, they give us the information. She was born on October 15th, and she just showed up in my feed, and we got to get her in December. So she came back October 15th, like she said, but and that's the thing.
Months after.
Yep, you got to get, you know, how they might define healing or showing up might be different than we have in our heads. And so we got her, and she's got a lot of the same traits, but you have to know when they come back, they're not going to be exact. It's not an exact copy. They've learned, they've grown. She used to be a horribly reactive storm dog where, you know, if it thundered and lightning, we were up all night. Now she sleeps through it like a champ. But, you know, she has a lot of similarities, but she has some differences. And she's not exactly the same. So, but she has coming back because she has more work to do with us. But she's been my dog multiple times. And I think if they're going to come back, there's an agreement that's been made at some level between the two of you. And, you know, not every animal's going to come back. We might wish them all to come back, but not everyone will. But you can tell, I think, by looking in the eyes. You can feel it. You can sense that if you're, you know, tuning in. Does that answer
Absolutely.
your question?
Hey, 100%. I mean, you know, and it's for me, I get the whole, you know, they can come back, they can walk in. And I just wanted people to know that that's exactly it. So, you know, talk to the animal, especially at the end. Tell them you want to come back. You know, they love you, they will. And for me, I've had an English Bulldog turn up as a Jack Russell Dachshund, the two breeds I did not want were put together, and we got her at 8 years old, and oh my gosh, she is turned in and a totally polar opposite dog that we knew and now we have. It is night and day and gives me the same look as my bulldog. So stubborn, sleeps the same, mannerisms the same in this little hot dog body, goes from a big meatball to a hot dog. It's the funniest thing in the world. But yeah, here we are, right? So I just wanted people to understand our loved ones, our pets, our fur babies are always there with us. We just have to look for the signs and ask and ask.
Exactly.
Ask.
Yes.
Well,
Awesome.
all of this is so beautiful. Tara, next time I talk to you, I'll be asking you about Isis. She seems to be a combination of Tara and Romeo, but that's a conversation for another day. Why don't you just tell people where they can contact you now, just sort of speak it out, your website or whatever, so that it's on the recording.
Absolutely. So best way to reach out to me is by email. I don't have a website for my animal work right now because it gets too crazy. So email is Tara, T-A-R-A, Argall, A-R-G, as in George, A-L-L, @hotmail.com. And the healing modality is Trailblazing Communications with an S.com. That website will be we're updating it. So maybe in a week, it'll be totally different than it is today. It'll be more information and stuff on there in a week. So if you go there now and go, it's being updated as we speak. And those are the best ways to reach out.
Okay, that's incredible. I might have a rescue for you. Anyway, you and I will talk.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, this has been an incredible hour, a little bit longer. Tara, you're amazing. My cat, my deceased Tara, led me to you, and I'm so grateful. I think you're amazing. The work you're doing. Everybody should have a reading with you. And I don't know, I may look into your classwork here, your coursework with animals, just for my own edification on a different plane.
All right, sounds amazing. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Tara. Thank you for sharing your beautiful gift. And it was truly a blessing getting to meet you. You have phenomenal energy. And thank you for being a voice to the voiceless.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. What a pleasure.
All right. Excellent. Thank you so much. Again, we have Tara's information. It is there in the comments if you would like to reach out to her. Please, I highly suggest doing so. She was spot on with Blue and highly recommend. And it's just nice having, you know, such gifted, beautiful souls coming in and sharing their gift with our audience. I truly thankful. Again, you can reach out. Pauline, what do you have going on so that people can be aware of any meditations, any events?
Yeah, thank you. I'll just say, I always feel the animals are mankind's better half. So amen, right?
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. All right.
Amen.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Tara. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay. Just incredible. Just so happy. So treat your animals well. Know that they always have messages for you, and they're here to help us, and we're here to help them. And that's about it. Just a lot of private sessions. I'm booked with a lot of private sessions. If people want private sessions, I'm doing a lot of Akashic readings, I'm doing past life regression, really only in person. I'm doing timeline healings. That's timelines from this moment to the time you were born. Sometimes we need to go back and we need to open up something very old to heal it. Lots of different services on my website. And no, I think I may have a peace a free peace meditation coming up. I'm not sure yet, but more courses coming in the fall when it's a little bit cooler. It's too hot yet. It's too hot for me. It's too hot for me. More coursework coming up in the fall, connecting to spirit and all kinds of things.
I definitely understand. It's been a hot summer. And again, I have some things coming up in September, and then again, October will be busy. You can go to my website, richardlarocco.com, if you're interested in booking a reading, or if you're looking to advance your mediumship and psychic self. We do have a couple of positions open for mentorship if you're interested, but stay tuned, richardlarocco.com, events, everything. Appreciate all the support, all the beautiful support of our listeners, people that have become part of our kind of spiritual family, clients that are just amazing souls. So thank you all so much. I hope everybody's really enjoyed this because we try to bring diverse guests, topics, things of that nature. If you do have a suggestion for a topic, please message either Pauline or myself. We're looking for things. What do you guys want to hear? But with this energy and 4 retrogrades and life happening, just be present, take time, and give yourself lots of love.
That's it for now. Much love, everybody. Much love.
Thank you so much. Everybody have an amazing week, and we will see you next Thursday on another episode of Guided by Spirit.